Some say it was difficult to keep order as the last lifeboats were lowered and the passengers realised the unsinkable ship was sinking. Crew and some male passengers worked together.
Then I had orders to go down the storeroom with a gang of men and get all the biscuits we could find and bring them up to the boats and distribute them around the boats. And when we got back up onto the boat deck, we couldn't get near the lifeboats. There were 3 boats up there, but were full of passengers and a mixture of crew, I suppose, and we couldn't get them down because she had a sort of list to port. We could imagine halfway down they would have hit the ship's side. Before I got my lifebelt on, I met a young couple. They'd spent their honeymoon in France, and we picked them up at Cherbourg, and, well, she was having trouble with her lifebelt, so I fixed that onto her, and I said, "I think you'd better get into the lifeboat." And she said, "No, I don't want to go over there. I don't want to leave my husband." So I said, "Well, it's just a precautionary measure. You go in. Your husband will follow later on." And I got her away, and, well, that was that. And then I picked up my own lifebelt and put it on.
As time went on, I could see the bows of the ship getting steadily lower and lower in the water. Now, between lowering one boat and another, I frequently took a run forward and a quick look down a long stairway that led from the boat deck 3 or 4 decks down. Frankly, I'm never likely to forget the sight of that cold, greenish water creeping step by step up that stairway. Some of the lights were shining down on the water, and others, already submerged, were giving it a sort of ghastly transparency. But for my purpose, I could tell by that staircase measurement exactly what was happening, how far down she'd gone, and how quickly she was going. Just when I first realized how desperately serious things were, I don't know. But I do know that before many boats were away, I got to piling more and more people into them. Partly because I now knew she was going, and partly because the boats were not remaining by the ship to be filled to their full capacity when waterborne. A far easier job than lowering them with their full complement from that tremendous height.
Long before I left the bridge, a telephone message had come through from the first officer who was aft. He'd been lowering all the starboard boats, and he'd told the quartermaster aft to report to the bridge that all the starboard boats had gone. That's a long time before I left the ship. And about that time, the captain came across the bridge and said, "Mr. Boxall, you go away in that boat," pointing to the port emergency boat number 2. And he said, "Hurry up, Mr. Wilde is waiting to lower it." I tumbled into this lifeboat and we got lowered down. I found that I only had 3 of the ship's crew, a steward, a cook, and a sailor. She had been lowered very slowly. She wouldn't run until you helped the falls, and eventually became waterborne. I tried to count the passengers, but it was difficult as they didn't speak English, you see. And I reckon that I had between 30, around about 30 on board the boat. And the captain looked over the side from the bridge and sung out and told me to go round to the starboard side, to the gangway doors, which was practically opposite side to where I was lowered. I had great difficulty in getting the boat round there. There was suction. I was using the stroke oar, standing up, and there was a lady helping. She was steering the boat round the ship's stern. When I passed round the boat, to try and get to this gangway door on the starboard side, her propellers were out of water. I'm not certain if I didn't pass underneath them. But when I did eventually reach there, I found that there was such a mob standing in the gangway doors. Really, I daren't go alongside, because if they'd jumped, they would have swamped the boat. I decided that it was not, that I daren't go alongside again, and I pulled off and laid off until I pulled away about a quarter of a mile, I suppose.